These old buildings captivate me. Don't you love them? I think they're special. It's like part of Sarasota, what makes Sarasota. Are we ready? Are we ready to go? Yeah. If you really want to understand Sarasota, you have to look past what's new. Because Sarasota didn't begin as a skyline, it began as an idea. So in the 1920s, this city was just starting to imagine what it could become. That moment in Sarasota's history was also shaped by the Ringling brothers. John and Maple Ringling believed in Sarasota, not just as a place to live, but as a place shaped by art, culture, and intention. And that belief left a lasting imprint on the city, I feel. It's why architecture mattered and why streets like Palm Avenue naturally became cultural anchors. And buildings like this one weren't reacting to Sarasota. They were helping define it. This is the Frances Carlton, built in 1924 right here on Palm Avenue, at the very beginning of Sarasota becoming Sarasota. Palm Avenue matters. So while Main Street became downtown Sarasota's commercial heart, Palm Avenue grew alongside it as the cultural and residential spine. A place where daily life, creativity, community naturally converged. That relationship really mattered. Main Street handled commerce, Palm Avenue carried culture. And that distinction still defines downtown Sarasota today. So right next door stood the Sarasota Women's Club. It was a civic and cultural anchor in the early 20th century. It was a place for education, performance, and community. And that building still stands today, now known as Florida Studio Theater. So when we talk about Palm Avenue, we're not just talking about an address. We're talking about a street that has carried Sarasota's cultural life forward for more than a century. Today, Palm Avenue is widely understood as one of the most meaningful streets in downtown Sarasota. It's where galleries, historic buildings, design spaces, and restaurants reflect the city's creative identity. And the Frances Carlton sits right in the middle of that story. When construction began in 1924, this building was not a condominium. These were actually apartments designed for people who wanted to live downtown, walk down Palm Avenue, and be part of Sarasota's daily rhythm. The building is intentionally small, just 20 residences across 3 floors, arranged in 4 vertical stacks. It was actually never meant to feel grand or anonymous. It was designed to feel residential and personal, almost like European in scale. More like that European-style pied-à-terre than a modern high-rise. And when you look closely, the details tell the story. The softly arched windows, the deep window frames, the way the light moves through the rooms. None of it is actually accidental. These shapes were meant to soften the building, to make it feel more human, inviting, not rigid or imposing. And inside, those same windows frame Palm Avenue, almost like a series of living postcards, connecting the interior to the street and the building to the life unfolding around it. It's a kind of quiet elegance. It's not ornate, it's just very thoughtful. And now, 102 years later, the fact that this building still exists, largely as it was actually intended, it's not an accident. Many buildings from this era were replaced, modernized beyond recognition, or erased entirely. The Frances Carlton endured because people recognized the value, and not just as real estate, but as part of Sarasota's history. At one point, it became Florida's first residential cooperative building, another quiet milestone that reflects care, stewardship, and long-term thinking. So today, people who are drawn to this building often respond to something that's hard to quantify. They're not necessarily comparing amenities or chasing what's new. They're responding to how a place feels and what it actually represents. For many, the Frances Carlton feels like European pied-à-terre, a downtown home that's intentionally scaled, rooted in history, and connected to its surroundings. It appeals to people who enjoy living simply, beautifully, and with a sense of continuity. Not because it's better, but because it aligns with how they want to live. Old Sarasota isn't gone. It's still here in places like this one. The Frances Carlton isn't trying to be timeless. It simply is.